What's going on, Washington Commander Nation? It's your guy Rio coming back with another episode on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel. I'm joined again by my boy Josh Taylor, who just actually introed his own Washington podcast that he's going to be starting up. Tell us a little bit about it, my guy.
Yeah, man, Rio, you and me have been in it for a little while now, making this content. And I've, started about 3 years ago, had to take a little bit of step back. Us as fans can get, burnt out. I mean, just with life and then also like all this stuff with the team. I just need to take a little step back for a while and just be a fan again. Cause that to me, that's the most important thing is just being a fan, being a lifelong fan of this team. I just didn't enjoy it for a little while, man. It's just, like I said, you just get burnt out after a little bit. But I decided to come on back, solo, no network, nothing like that, no agenda, just straight up raw content, straight up thoughts, kind of like what you do, man. I mean, I got to applaud you. You helped me, get some of that passion back. I've been writing for, Rigo's Rag for a little bit too. So just interacting with fans and just talking about the team again. I was like, man, I got to get back into it. It's been, I miss it. It was a good little time away to get my mind right and everything, but it's going to be, like I said, I already got the YouTube page started up. Podcast is starting up. First episode's coming out Saturday called Taking Command with Josh Taylor. Check it out. I'm sure we'll put the link in here somewhere. If not, check it out on Twitter. It's in my bio, stuff like that. So just follow us on Twitter. And like I said, looking forward to it. Saturday is going to be the first episode. Talk about some draft stuff, some defensive stuff, because that's what we're going to talk about today with one of my boys. But just diving in deep, talking about fits and Washington's tendencies on defense. And, sometimes you can't just draft a guy like, oh, he's good. Like, we'll make it work. It doesn't always work out that way. But this guy that we're going to talk about in this video, it absolutely does work for wherever you put him at. So I'm excited to talk about it, man.
Hell yeah, man. I'm glad to have you back in the community. It does, like, you can easily lose sight of the fact that we're just fans because we're always producing content, writing, and we're obsessing about it. At the end of the day, the love for this stupid ass team is what drives us to do this stuff. And I'll definitely have the link to your page in my description and on my community tab. But right before we get to it, this episode is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino and Washington on the Daily on Instagram. Let's get right to the shits. Today, we are talking about, dare I say, a generational prospect. The word generational gets thrown out to a lot of guys. Is it a valid statement when it comes to 6'4", 220-pound free safety out of Notre Dame, Kyle Hamilton?
6 DBs on the field. Sharon Jones throws. It's deflected and intercepted. It's the freshman, Kyle Hamilton, in the end zone. Drops 7 in coverage. Perkins slings it in there, and Kyle Hamilton, the freshman, comes up with his second interception. Big rush. Got it away with good hang time as well. 46 yards. Big hit by Kyle Hamilton.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even say he's a free safety. I call this guy a defensive weapon. And you just pop on the tapes. Notre Dame can, put him all over the field, whether it's in the slot, whether it's in the box, whether it's free safety, and he's going sideline to sideline, getting interceptions like he did against Florida State. This guy knows no position. And that's what the NFL is turning into, like right now. Like if you watch defenses, especially with Washington, there's a lot of times where we only had 2 linebackers on the field. You need DBs and you need guys that can flex. You need guys like Buda Baker, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. You need guys that can keep up anywhere you put them on the field. And that's what we tried to do with Landon Collins last year. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it didn't. He wasn't too happy with the role. But I think a guy like Kyle Hamilton, he doesn't care where you put him. He's like, just put him on the field. I'm going to make big plays. And that's what we're lacking right now with our defense is big plays. Playmakers. Do we have one guy on the defense that can flip, the momentum of a game like that? We've seen spurts from Chase, like that game in the 49ers, that strip sack. Like other than that,
Cam Curl maybe. Yeah,
every now and then, like twice a year, cool. Mm-hmm. But like think about the times when we played our best last year. Like William Jackson III had that one interception against the Chargers, huge, and then Gibson fumbled. Completely took that away. The first half against the Chiefs, we looked like we were headed to the Super Bowl. That was the highlight of our season. Now imagine playing like that all season long. First half Chiefs defense. Imagine playing like that all season long. The way we looked against the Bucs.
Yeah.
Turnovers, bro.
Watching that live, that was unbelievable. I was actually sitting in your seat for that game because you weren't able to make it that week. And I couldn't believe how good our defense looked. We made Tom Brady look like Taylor Heineke for a good majority of that game. But we don't have playmakers on the defense. Do you know how many interceptions we drop and how many fumbles we don't recover?
Bobby McCain probably dropped like 3 or 4. And I'll shout out Bobby McCain, but like he can kick rocks when it comes to adding a safety. Like, I'm sorry, not even Kyle Hamilton. There's like 3 or 4 safeties I want so bad on this team. So I'm like, Bobby, no offense. I forgot what we paid him, but to me it was a little too high. To bring him back, but he can kick rocks. He's like what, 5'10", 5'11",
5.5 million or something like that. But
that's 5 too many.
It's so interesting and so strange to me when people say like, "Yo, we re-signed Bobby. Why would we draft Kyle Hamilton? Because he's a freakazoid." What are you talking about, bro? Like, we do this thing here. Like,
y'all gonna make me pull the numbers out, man.
Like JP and them. Call it Ashburn syndrome. It's real. Like, we overvalue these players here, man. I'm going to talk about tight ends next week too, because I love Logan Thomas. We overvalue him too. We fall in love and are enamored with these players because we see them. We see about their practice every day, and we think that they're the end all be all, and they're irreplaceable.
Kelvin Harmon.
Yeah, man, Kelvin, exactly.
He was the next Santana Moss for Washington. Like, people were like, "Oh, we need Kelvin, man. He had like 2 or 3 good grabs." It don't mean nothing.
I see Kyle Hamilton as possibly the best player in the draft. Aiden Hutchinson, there's a discussion there, but if it's not Aiden Hutchinson, it's Kyle Hamilton. He's the most generational safety we've seen since what? Jamal Adams, and I think he offers more than what Jamal Adams offers as a safety, because Jamal Adams in the league is limited to just a box safety. And
he can't
the first retort people are going to give you is his 40-yard dash. How much do you care about Kyle Hamilton's 40-yard dash?
Not a damn thing. I turn that tape on and just watch it. Like you said, when we talked about it last week, you had me tripping. You said he run like an alligator. He does. Like,
not going to be happy with his 40 time at the 4.59. But look, he almost went all the way outside the white. He's weaving up and down.
But when he's on the field and he's got pads on and he knows where to get to the ball, he has straight line speed. I'm not worried about some little tarp laid down on a field where he's running 40 yards straight with a bunch of guys watching him in these tights. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about his longevity, what he's done in his career at Notre Dame. He was the consensus best defensive player in this draft all season. People knew Will Anderson for Alabama, who would clearly be number 1 this year. They knew he wasn't going to the draft. So it was Kyle Hamilton and Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau half-assed a lot of games, sat out some. He was injured, banged up.
Effort issue.
Still a beast. But he knew, like, he just didn't give his all. There's red flags all over the place for Kayvon Thibodeau. But Kyle Hamilton showed up every single game, made plays for Notre Dame. That is the biggest thing as a safety. He made difference. He led, put guys where they need to be. He could fly to the ball. He has the IQ that you need. I said it on my college football podcast beginning of the season. I was like, yo, Kyle Hamilton's a top 3 pick, and I'd put him over Kayvon Thibodeau. And now all of a sudden people are like, don't forget, he's a safety. Safeties don't get drafted high, blah, blah, blah. Like Derwin James, he fell. He's better than Derwin James. Do you remember how high Washington fans were on Derwin James? Like, why the heck did we pick Deron Payne? Derwin James, like, people were making the case for it. But now Washington fans like, I don't know. We've got Cam Curl. We don't need a Kyle Hamilton. And to me, like, I get it. I love Cam Curl. He's going to stay a strong safety. But I did some research. Let me tell you something, Rio. Did you know last year, out of 950 snaps last year, Washington played 58% of those snaps in the big nickel and big dime. And not a lot of people know what that is. Big nickel and big dime is 60 Bs on the field at a time, which included Landon Collins a lot of time. He was like that money backer. Super safety is what they call it, or money backer, like whatever you want to call it. And then the big nickel is when there's 3 safeties on the field at a time. We played a ton of that. There's 2 linebackers on the field. I'm going to talk about this in one of my videos. There's 2 linebackers on the field majority of the time for Washington. It was like 65 or 70%. It was a lot. We only played our base defense 7% last year. And people are saying, how come we didn't get linebackers? How come? I swear, I think we're running Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis next year. Like, I think that's what they want. And you're going to see a ton of that. And you're going to see a third safety. You're going to see a third corner a lot of times. So that's why DBs are higher for Washington right now. That's why we're bringing in a bunch of guys. Have you heard any talks about visits of linebackers?
No,
I haven't heard a single one.
Yeah, they're not really bringing in any linebackers, and I'm glad because they better not take one in the first round.
It's not. There's zero. I was thinking about that today. I was like, I hope I can tell them on the show. There's a 0% chance we're drafting a linebacker in the first round.
If they take Devin
no
Lewis
chance.
and Kobe Dean in the first round, I'm turning the fucking draft off, bro.
Thank you.
Like, what are they going to do if you have two linebackers on the field? Who's not playing? People saying Cole Holcomb for a 5th round pick. What's the value that you're getting out of Cole?
Yeah.
And he got better in the coverage. Like, look at the pick against Dak. Like, he looked a lot better in coverage last year. We know he was a good tackler. We knew he was a good Sam. He said he kind of wants to play Mike. We don't really. I mean, we need a Mike, but it's not like one of the top priorities. And people are gonna like hate that I say that. But I'm telling you, the majority of the snaps are big dime and big nickel, which is why it's important to fill Landon Collins' role if he's not coming back. Now, Keim said there's a chance that he might come back. I don't think a lot of teams want him. Like, no harshing on Landon. Love him to death.
It's clear he has no market.
Yeah. And people are like, what about Tyrann Mathieu? Tyrann Mathieu's picking where to go. That he can literally land anywhere he wants, but he knows his market money-wise, but he wants to find a team he wants. I think that's another reason why we're not on Tyrann Mathieu. I think because they know a guy like Kyle Hamilton, Brisker from Penn State could be there. Jalen Petrie, another guy out of Baylor who could fill that role. But they need that three safeties are going to be on the field a good chunk. I would say 25% of snaps. So that's Bobby McCain's little self at free safety. That's Cam Curl at strong safety. I don't see him playing the Buffalo role. I think they want Cam to stay where he's at. He's killing it. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Like you said, he gets interceptions, so on. But they need that guy, and it's Kyle Hamilton because he can blitz, he can run stop, he can line up against a tight end, he can, like he can do anything.
Bro, he could do single high, he could do two high, like he does all. Like he could be the free safety because I don't care what his 40 time looks like. Turn on his tape, you see the guy with the biggest motor on the football field is Kyle Hamilton. I know they're gonna show that Kyle Hamilton, Florida State interception where he went from one sideline to the other sideline, diving on the sideline. They're going to run it into the ground because there's a reason for it, bro. That is freakish type athleticism, bro. I'm not going to let a 40-yard dash where this man is zigzagging up the line tell me, oh, he's not fast. Every year we do this with a prospect. They do this with a prospect every single year where his tape is phenomenal. And they pick and prod at the underwear Olympics in the pro day, bro. Forget what he looked like when he ran the 40. Did you see him in the coverage drills? He's natural as hell. He's starting on the defense somewhere if we take him at 11 because he has no business
everywhere.
He has no business being at 11. I don't even consider him coming here because I can't see 10 teams passing on such a talent. Like, where do you think he's taken in the draft?
I mean, it's tough. For me, it's always been the Jets just because they have 2 picks super high. They can get, I don't know, like their wide receiver room's not as bad as people are saying. Like Mims is a young guy they like. Moore is another young guy they like. They had Corey Davis, so they paid a good bit. Like, I don't know if they're going to take a wide receiver in the first round, honestly. I think they might.
I don't know. I feel like they're trying. If they're not going to take one, they're trying hard to trade.
I know they were in the market for Tyreek. I get it. But, I mean, they have to ask themselves, like a guy like Kyle Hamilton's there. Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach. Not many, pieces on that defense to really build around. You need a franchise guy that you can build around. Kyle Hamilton, that's like literally that's what they need. And I think Robert Saleh knows how important a guy like that on his defense is. So for me, it's always been Jets. I see people saying he's going to the Lions like that high. And that's the thing, like, for those that are overthinking it, there's still people that are being real and saying, no, y'all are overthinking this too much. Kyle Hamilton's a top 5 pick, like a lock. So I agree with you. If he somehow comes to pick 11 for Washington, there's no hesitation. Like, I get it. Wide receiver, Chris Olave is a gorgeous pick. Garrett Wilson, I get it.
He's just too good, bro.
This dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the inconsistencies on defense last year took us out of so many games. Quarterback play from Taylor Heineke and inconsistencies on defense, allowing these big plays, these big burner plays. The Hail Mary against the Saints.
Bruh. Oh my
You know,
God.
the wide open Shepard that luckily wasn't a touchdown against the Giants. Like there's so many plays that just scream. The Mahomes throwing across his body to Tyreek Hill, the comeback. That's not happening with Kyle Hamilton on the field. I would rather someone be fast and know what he's doing than to run like a 4.27 and have no IQ, no football IQ.
Hell yeah. And
his play speed is ridiculous. Like, there's a difference between running in shorts and then play speed. Play speed is your feet, your eyes, and your mind. Can you play fast? Kyle Hamilton can play faster than anybody on defense, faster than Aiden Hutchinson, faster than Kayvon Thibodeau. He can read defenses. He knows what to do. He's smart about it. He's not just, run. He knows how to read what's going on. Like, all right, if I bait this throw, the quarterback's going to throw it. And I know I got the closing speed to go pick this thing off. And he does it all the time.
All the time.
People overthink too much, man.
They definitely overthink.
This dude's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. Like it's a no-brainer sprint to the podium type play. As much as I've pushed, I want a receiver, I want weapons for Carson Wentz. Kyle Hamilton has no business being the 11th pick of the draft, just like people felt with Derwin James. Like, this dude was not starting as a freshman. He was a backup safety and had 4 picks and 41 tackles, bro. Like, this dude is so special, man. If there are weaknesses to his game, what would you say his weaknesses are?
Man, I honestly don't feel comfortable saying like something is a weakness. Like I said, I think he could play free safety, like single high by himself. I don't think he would thrive there. Like if there's a weakness, that would be his weakest point. But even then, I feel comfortable. But he's 6'4", 220. What free safeties that are 6'4", 220 that can play fast enough to play single high? That's a big dude. Like he's a genuine like run stopper and blitzer. Like he is effective as a blitzer and as a run stopper in the box. And the fact that he can still play free safety and cover sideline to sideline is what's scary. If he does play there, he's not going to play there a lot. There's going to be a lot of disguises. He's not going to just line up like he's on punt coverage, like by himself, to where people know, like, all right, he's a single high safety. Let's attack him. It's going to be disguised to where another safety drops on like a blitz, or he just, he's the one guy that drops back in coverage. If anything, that would be it. But I still don't feel comfortable enough saying he's not good as a single high safety, because I think he is, because you said, that sideline to sideline speed shows on the tape. Maybe Bob McCain at 5'11", 170, he's supposed to be a single high guy. He's supposed to have that speed. We've seen, Landon Collins get burnt as that strong safety in coverage. And, that's not strong safety's biggest point. Like in coverage that deep, Kyle Hamilton can be a deep safety. He can play free safety, strong safety, Buffalo nickel, money backer, super safety. Like anything you want, this guy can do it. And if you look at the draft reports, they say he's not coming off the field for a single snap. It does not matter what kind of defense you play, what schemes you have, what coverages you have. Kyle Hamilton will be the first guy on the field.
Oh yeah, and like you don't want to mention the GOAT, but we literally can use him like we use Sean Taylor, bro. Like this would be this best safety in the building since Sean, and it's not even close, bro. Like this guy his character is unblemished. Like Ron Rivera's probably in love with this dude's character.
Clean cut. I'm looking at his picture right now. This dude making me smile with his smile. Like he carries himself well. He got the clean cut. Like we both got cut this week, probably. Like this dude carries himself well. That's what you want. I've never heard one bad thing with Kyle Hamilton. I've seen him flash on the field. I've seen good things with him off the field. New coach. He was one of the first guys that backed Freeman as a new coach over at Notre Dame. It just made it fun to play at Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been one of the most boring teams to watch. Back in the day, it was slow defense, like just run stopping guys, man-tied table, linebacker, whatever. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah made it exciting, and then Kyle Hamilton came in and it made me want to watch his tape. I love watching this dude play football. And if he lands in Washington, I'm telling you, man, I will be at every game just because I'm like, there's a chance Kyle Hamilton gonna pop off this game.
Oh yeah, man. If he is the pick, man, I hope he wears
a jersey.
I hope he wears like number 1. Like I hope he wears a single digit or something. That John would look so sweet. I'm gonna let that Fitzpatrick jersey fade into obscurity for a year. I don't need that 14 touching the field.
Heck no. I'm glad I didn't even get one.
He just looks and embodies what a Washington Commander is. Like with the rebrand, he's a perfect face to put with the rebrand. That's why I think if the pick's not Chris Olave, it's because Stingley or Kyle Hamilton, for some reason, are there when we pick, and our defensive-minded regime, like they're not going to be able to help themselves. Kyle Hamilton's on the board. They're sprint, like don't even take any time off the clock. Give them to him, because the phone will probably be ringing if Kyle Hamilton's on the board too.
Oh yeah. A lot of people are going to want to move up. But this is my question for you. You bring up Stingley, to Sauce Gardner. My thing is, if Kyle Hamilton falls to 11 and it's Stingley, Hamilton, and Gardner, I'm taking Kyle Hamilton. It's not even close.
Easily.
The thing that I want people to think about, and this isn't a don't draft a corner, because we do need a corner, because once again, we played a lot of 3 corners on the field. I do like St. Juste. I think he's physical, long. He's like that 6'2", 205 size corner that you need in today's NFL to be physical, press and man. But the thing is, say we get Sauce Gardner or Stingley. Obviously, they're playing outside. They're outside corners. They're not slot guys. I haven't seen Sauce or Stingley enough in the slot to be like, yeah, they're slot guys. They're playing outside. William Jackson III's playing outside too. Kendall Fuller's best from last season was when he was outside.
Yeah.
Not in the slot where he was getting eaten up. He got 8 in the slot. So my thing is, if we draft Stingley or Sauce Gardner, what does this shift look like? We still don't have a fill in that void of that money backer spot. Because Rivera said himself, that money backer spot might be more important than linebacker. Keim's been hitting at it. He tweeted it out, I think, the other day, saying that, and it's kind of like what I said at the beginning of the episode, 2 linebackers is what you're going to be seeing a majority of on the field. This isn't the same old NFL where there's 3 linebackers on the field at the same time. So if you get Sauce Gardner or Stingley, and I'm not saying don't, because obviously I think they're better than Kendall Fuller on the outside right away. No shades to Fuller. But what happens? Is somebody getting benched, or like what would happen? What would that shift in the schemes look like? So that's what I want people to think about. Tell me what you think, because I don't know. I would trust, maybe Fuller goes for free safety.
And you've heard that rumblings that we've been checking in on veteran corners such as Patrick Peterson, who signed again with Minnesota. We're looking into Joe Hayden, bringing the DC boy home,
of course.
You know what I'm saying? All you got to tell Dan Snyder is that they're from the DMV and he's with the shits.
What part?
Say less. Bring them. But we can just sign a Joe Hayden, and that can fill our void for another corner. And then we bring in a Kyle Hamilton. The defense is almost complete, minus some depth pieces, because like you said, we're barely in the 4-3 base defense. This Mike spot it's blown up the need at linebacker that we need. Yeah, sure, it would be great to have one, but we're going to have Jamin and Cole Holcomb on the field most of the time. We used the first-round pick on Jamin Davis last year.
He's the wild card for this defense. Like, regardless, if you get Kyle Hamilton, I don't want to chase some rabbit trail, but right now, like, it leans on Jamin Davis right now, because the biggest thing, if you do go big dime, you take out your Sam linebacker and you put in a Will. But it still wasn't Jamin Davis a lot last year. It was other guys.
Jamin was like never on the field on third down. Like, I remember, because we were season ticket holders last year.
Like, every third
Davis. Yeah, every third down, this nigga was running off the field. Like, yo, what are we doing?
It was hard to see, but it just, for me, that's even more case of a Kyle Hamilton. Like, imagine Landon Collins. Now take all the things Landon Collins couldn't do, and now you have Kyle Hamilton who can just do it all naturally. And then everything Landon Collins did good is like even better. Like, for me, like, Kyle Hamilton does everything that we wanted Landon Collins to be and so much more. Like, his ball hawk skills are better. His IQ is better. His hands are better. Eyes are better. I think he's faster than Landon Collins. He can hit hard like Landon Collins. He can blitz like Landon Collins. Like, for me, it's a no-brainer. I feel bad even talking about it, because it shouldn't even be a possibility that he gets to 11.
Hell yeah, it shouldn't even be a conversation. And then we go back to stuff like John Allen shouldn't have been there when we picked him. Like, Derwin James shouldn't have been on the board. Yeah. Like,
the fact that Derwin James fell that far was like, that was the buzz of the draft. People are like, yo, what the heck? How did Derwin James really fall that far? But he did. But like I said, I think Kyle Hamilton is I'm not gonna say he's like way better than Derwin James, because I think Derwin James is still a beast. But I think Kyle Hamilton has the ability to be better than Derwin James. I think he's faster. For me, like, if we're starting over like Derwin James in the draft and Kyle Hamilton in the draft, I would take Kyle Hamilton. By a good chunk.
People would pick Derwin strictly off like his 40 and athleticism and stuff like that, but I don't take too much into that.
No.
Please put on the tape and watch the player. The player's phenomenal. My boy Jalen, shout out to Jalen from Bleeding BMG. Check my guy out. His comp for Kyle Hamilton was like, he is both Legion of Boom safeties into one person. He's Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas fused together into one safety. If that is not something that you want and subscribe to on your defense, I don't know what the hell to tell you. What's your comp?
Yeah, you boring. You are boring.
What's your comp for Kyle Hamilton?
I honestly, I don't think you can put a comp on him because it'd be disrespect.
Because he's different. He's different.
And I'm not even just saying that to be like funny. Like I legit, and a lot of people have compared him to Derwin James. I think that's like the main comp you will see. But like I said, I think he's I think he's a better version of Derwin James just because of what he does offer you and the coverage ability. I think Derwin James is, he's that strong safety kind of guy. You see a little bit, harder hitter. He's great in coverage, but I think Kyle Hamilton's better. I like his instinct. I like how fast he reacts. And like I said, for me, that's the safety role. Like if you're just fast, but you're like, oh, I think he's about to throw this. Let me be there quick. And then you get burnt. Like that does nothing. Your speed does nothing for you if you're making the wrong plays. So for Kyle Hamilton to have the smarts and the play speed, like for me, that's something you don't see often. Like I don't know another safety who's going to play like this guy. I just, like you said, last person that comes to mind is Sean Taylor. And I hate that we always go back to Sean Taylor, but it's so true. He's the first safety that really comes to mind that changed a game like that. The strip sacks, the interceptions, the big hits.
Did everything.
That's what Kyle Hamilton's going to do, man.
Freaking free safety in a linebacker's body that moved like a receiver. Like we've never seen anything like it.
I think he has the ability to I'm not saying his game compares to Tyrann Mathieu, but he has the ability to be that kind of playmaker or like a Budda Baker. That's two guys I think of in the league right now at safety that really can change a game. Like Tyrann Mathieu is one of the first guys you think of. Jamal Adams, like I said, he's just a big dude, not good in coverage. He's getting burnt. He's just tackling dudes. He is like the box safety of the NFL. And for me, just Kyle Hamilton blows out all the prospects that I've seen. A lot of draft guys are saying he's the best safety prospect they've seen since they've started doing this back in like early 2000s, somewhere like 2010, stuff like that. It's a no-brainer, man. Like it's just someone like him we haven't seen him in the NFL in a long time. Like I think of like Ed Reed, some of these big time guys, Dawkins. If you're looking back and Kyle Hamilton has that kind of career, like I could see it, man. Like it wouldn't surprise me if he is a future All-Pro.
Yeah,
like quick too.
Gold jacket guy, man. And listen, Michael Parsons shouldn't have got as far as he got in the draft last year. You heard the stories about the booty bandit in the Penn State locker room. But listen, the dude as a player, it was clear how good he was. Don't overthink it. And to our fans, Commander Nation, Bobby McCain is on a different planet than Kyle Hamilton. It's not
he in space. He in the trash can.
Let's stop emotionally attaching ourselves to players. If Kyle Hamilton is on the board at 11, a 100% undoubtedly sprint to the podium, bring him to DC, start him right away, and let him be everything Ron Rivera talks about in every press conference.
Versatility. We like versatility. Yeah.
Position flex.
That's it. Like Ron's praying. Like you said, I would surprise me if teams would try to trade up for Kyle. Like if he gets past like 5 or 6, teams are going to try. He's that good.
Jack Del Rio might have a freaking panic attack if Kyle Hamilton's on the board and we consider taking a receiver. Like,
if he goes at like 10, that's going to hurt. Like if he goes right before us, man, that's gonna be the what if we talk about for the next 3 years. What if Kyle Hamilton would have fell to us?
Oh yeah, because he's gonna be an All-Pro in like 2 years or immediately. But that's all I got on the player right now, man. It's a pretty no-brainer pick. Kyle Hamilton is a freaking unicorn. Like he's a unicorn. He's unblemished off the field. He has high character. He probably has family in the military. I know Ron is salivating over this dude.
Air Force cap, like.
He has the face of it too. He has the face of I was born in a military home.
He got a nice house.
For sure, man. But I appreciate you for coming on and chopping it up with me. I'm pretty sure we're gonna do some more of this before the draft. I'll come on your show, you come on mine. Anytime, my guy.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, just look back at last season when Washington showed good defense. It was big time plays in the secondary. William Jackson III, Bobby McCain had a couple interceptions. That is when our defense looked its best. And Kyle Hamilton would give that every single week.
Call your shot. What pick is he going?
I'm going to stick with my gut, man. Jets are taking him with one of their picks. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's the first one just because they know that he can go. Yep. What if they went? They're going to go Kyle Hamilton and Derek Stingley.
I think they're going to go Kyle Hamilton and Drake London.
Oh, man.
I think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna go. Kyle Hamilton's too good to get out the top 5, bro. Like I can't believe it. I'm not gonna believe what the media is saying right now.
Nah, it's not.
They're feeding me lies and deception. Dude is just too good. He has no business having a double digit on his draft selection. Like I won't believe that.
Disrespect. No, I agree with you. There's no way he goes out of the top 10 for me.
Yep. Go ahead and tell them where to find you. We can go ahead and check out for the day, man.
Yep. As always, I am on Twitter. Just changed my name at Josh Taylor FB for football. Josh Taylor FB. And like I said, the new show's coming out. I'll do the first episode drop on Saturday. Like I said, it is. I'm also doing the draft stuff on Takeover Podcast at Draft Takeover is the show on there. But Taking Command with Josh Taylor is coming out soon. I'm excited, man. Like I said, we're gonna chop it up. We did a lot last season, and we've been killing it this offseason. Appreciate everyone who tunes in and watches these videos. I love hearing people talk about this stuff, man. I love hearing different views, perspectives. We be fighting on Twitter with some people. I love it, man.
I love it, bro. I live for it, man. I'm obsessed about the draft and watching it. I get emotional watching guys.
This is our season, man.
Dreams. All I beg of the draft is please don't talk about trauma when these players get picked. Just let them enjoy their moment. I don't want to hear about how his uncle shot his mom when he was 4. Like, bro, let these dudes enjoy their night. Let's enjoy the draft. But that
happens every time. His auntie works at McDonald's right now. She can quit her job. Like, bro, it has nothing to do with it. He's
ready to take care of his family who's been poverty-stricken since the age of 5. Like, Trey Wingo, his eyebrows,
bad, bro.
His eyebrows would just perk up at the thought of trauma, bro. Like,
who got shot when he was 3?
Oh, man. Oh.
Like, bro, has nothing to do with the draft. Literally nothing. His mom drives an 86 Civic. She gonna get out that car this week. Like, bro, y'all need to chill.
I love the draft, man. I always love chopping it up with my boys. Appreciate you for coming on with me, man. Always. My guy Josh has more Twitter names than Washington has name changes. You already know how we do. Commander Nation, y'all know where to find me at Rio_Robinson91. Rambling with Rio. Until next time, take command, salute, and hail to the Washington Commanders.